Today on StampTV, I'm going to show you an elegant 3D card I made using the new Journey of the Heart StampTV kit, along with a few embellishments that I cut from this silhouette. You can cut these embellishments exactly like mine if you have the silhouette Cameo or portrait, or you can use similar pieces made from dies, punches, or other electronic cutters you may have in your collection. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to make this project. First, you're going to need some ink pads. And I have the Gina Designs grass green along with some of the black Onyx. Then you're going to need some stamps. And I have a couple of the stamps from the new Journey of the Heart StampTV kit. This large daisy, the little sprig of leaves, and then a greeting that says best wishes. Then you're going to need some glue dots. Now, some glue dots come on a roll. These are some of the older glue dots that we used to carry, but I still have a lot of them left, so I'm going to use them up. Whether you get them on the roll or you get them in the package, they are pretty much the same. Then you're also going to need 1/4-inch pop dots. I'm going to be using some of the black and white baker's twine, so you'll need some twine. And also, I have here some of our 5/8 of an inch black organdy ribbon. Then you're going to need a button, and I've chosen one of the grass green buttons from our Gina Designs button boxes. And this is a nice big one, so I like this project because it uses up some of those bigger buttons. You're also going to need something to add a little bit of sparkle, and I'm using the Sakura Clear Star Jelly Roll pen. This is the Stardust pen. You've heard me talk about that before. Now you're also going to need some cardstock and pattern paper, and what I have here is I have one of the pieces of pattern paper from the new Journey of the Heart 6x6 pattern paper pack. And that is going to be layered onto some of the black Onyx, and then I have one of the Gina Designs white card bases that I made. I made this out of our heavy base weight cardstock, but you can also make them out of our layering weight cardstock if you like a lighter card. Now, I've cut a few pieces here from the silhouette, and if you go to Gina Designs, the StampTV website, stamptv.com, underneath the screen, and also on YouTube, underneath the screen, you'll see which cut files I used to get these cuts. These particular files over here for the flower and for the leaves are on our freebies page on StampTV. So you have to be a member to get to the freebies page. Membership is free, but you can download this file for your silhouette Cameo or portrait. Now, if you don't have these particular machines, you can always just cut the flowers out and cut the leaves out. That's just fine. You don't have to have this particular way to do it in order to make this card. Then here I cut this oval and this scalloped oval out using my silhouette Cameo. And you can see how nice this is. Let me lay this up against white. You can see it's a beautiful scalloped edge. And so I cut these out with the silhouette, but of course many of you have dies or punches that can do the same thing. Then I cut this border out using my silhouette and also these flourishes. But there are lots of great flourish dies and punches out there, and also border dies and punches. So you don't have to have the same exact style. You can use whatever you have in your inventory. Okay, to begin, I am going to stamp these flowers onto the flowers that I have already cut out. Now, if you're going to skip this step, then you would just stamp the flowers on some lightweight white cardstock, some of our 80-pound cardstock, and then you would trim them out, leaving a little bit of a white border around the outside. And you don't have to trim them quite so close. So I'm going to stamp this one. Excuse my head if it gets in the way. I need to kind of look right over it. There we go. Okay, there's one. You can see how nice and bright that looks. And I'm using the black Onyx ink for that, as you can see. And you can kind of see the way that the stamps are cut matches the way that these cut files come out, so they're very easy to stamp on. You can see I'm not struggling too much to get them in the center. And if they're a little bit off center, that's okay too. All right, and the last one, stamp that right there. Yeah, being a little bit off is not a big deal. Okay, so those are done in black. Now I'm going to also, while I have the black ink pad open, I'm going to adhere these two pieces together using some of my adhesive. And then I'm going to stamp right onto this oval, this best wishes greeting. Now I always have like a little extra piece of paper laying around just to check to make sure that the greeting looks straight when I stamp it. So I'll check it first just to make sure I can stamp it straight. All right. And then I'm going to stamp that down here at the bottom. There we go. Best wishes. Okay. So now that that part of the stamping is done, I'm going to stamp a few sprigs of leaves. So I have these little cut file pieces here, and again, this is where if you don't have this machine, you can just stamp them on some white cardstock and then just trim them out. So I'm using the grass green for this because I think it's a nice contrasting green against the black. There's one. Two. Three. And four. There we go. Okay. So you could take a look at all of these pieces and see what they look like. You can see how you can make some really very, very pretty things by using cut files and dies and things like that to cut out pieces that you've stamped. All right, for my next step, I'm going to take this piece of black Onyx cardstock and I'm going to tape that onto, or tape this sheet music piece onto the black Onyx. And if you're not sure if there's a right way, like an up or down for this sheet music, and you're not a musician, maybe you've never played music and you're not sure how to read music, there's a little G clef here. Make sure that that G clef, that little, looks like an ampersand kind of, is facing in the right direction. That's how you'll know. If it's upside down, it will look silly. So, to people who know music. All right. So now my next step is to adhere this little strip right across near the bottom of my card. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of mono adhesive. And because there's nice straight lines on this pattern paper, I can just follow one of those. As long as you cut it straight, it'll be a good guide for you. So there is that little border. Isn't that pretty? And if you are in the market for an electronic cutter, I do have to say the silhouette is pretty amazing. Look how clean those are. So much detail in these cuts. Now I'm going to add a little piece of ribbon going across the bottom here. So I will lay that right up against the line on that piece, on that die cut strip, and then I'll attach that on the back using some of this mono adhesive. And then just straighten it a little bit, and there you have some elegant ribbon for your card. Now this whole card can go onto this white card base. So we can do that now. And as you know, whenever I use ribbon and wrap it around, I like to add a little bit of tape onto the ribbon. This way that'll prevent the ribbon from loosening up and coming off, popping out from behind that panel. Okay, so now there we go. There is the base of our card. Now I'm going to add this oval right down here, overlapping a little bit onto that ribbon. And this is kind of an interesting, fun way to use shapes where you're not necessarily using them for your focal image, but you're using them more as an embellishment or an accent piece. So we'll put that one there, like that. Then we're going to arrange these flourishes, and I cut 3 of them. I thought 3 would be pretty. I'm going to put one there, I'm going to put one up here, and then I'll put one here. So let me move these out of the way. I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to these. And then we'll just put that right about here. Tape that down. And then this one again is going to go right up in that corner. And have some fun with flourishes. You can also do this with flourish stamps, which is another fun way to do it. But have some fun overlapping them and just doing some fun looks. Now I'm going to make this into a heart like that. Isn't that cute? Little heart up there. I'll do that. And all of the bottom part is going to be covered up with flowers and leaves, so you won't see that. Make that into a heart. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to lay out my flowers, and I'm going to put one here, like that. And then I'll put one here, and I'm going to slip it under parts of the heart. And then I'll put one over here. So that's where my 3 flowers are going to go. And I'm going to adhere those using some 1/4 inch pop dots because I want them to stick out a little bit. So we'll put that first one down right about here. And then I'll put the next one down. And you can see that I'm turning the flowers a little bit as I go. So each one isn't facing exactly in the same direction. That makes them look like 3 different flowers. So I'm going to slip that one under that flourish. I'll just leave the one flourish there. All right, and then the last one will go here. These flowers in this StampTV kit are so pretty and so fun to work with. And if you've never tried just stamping in black and white, it is so striking. Really pretty and fun. Okay, and that last one will go right about there. And now I'm going to fill in with some leaves. So I'll slip some leaves in there. And you can put those on with pop dots, or you can put them on with regular tape. I kind of like the whole idea that this is a 3-dimensional card, so, you know, adding a few pop dots really does make a difference. All right, a couple more. Isn't this coming out pretty? Such a nice bouquet. We'll put one right in here. We'll bring one down. We need to have one down here for sure. And it can overlap a little bit if you want it on the ribbon. I think I'll tuck it in there a little further up, like that. And then maybe bring that loop over. Can bring this loop over too. The swirls all over the place. And then you can add one more. If you wanted to add one up here, you can. This one might be nice to do flat. Let's see how that looks. I'll do this one. I'm going to lift this up and tuck it under. It's almost like you're doing your own little paper floral arranging. There we go. Okay. So there's my beautiful bouquet. Now I need an embellishment here, and I thought that a grass green button would just be the perfect little accent piece. So I'm going to grab some of this black and white twine and make a nice big loopy bow. And of course I didn't need anywhere near that much twine. I don't know what I was thinking, but I can probably use the pieces I cut off for another card. That is too big of a loop. There we go. And then I'll just cut that excess away. And I'll save that definitely for another card when I'm using a smaller button. That will be plenty. Okay, and then that is going to be adhered to my card using a glue dot. Actually, I'm going to use 2 glue dots for this. And I will show you how I'll do that. I'll put one on one side of the ribbon, or on one side of the little holes there, and then one on the other side. And then I'll just place that where I want it and give it a good press. All right, so now I have an elegant 3-dimensional card featuring the new Journey of the Heart StampTV kit. Whether you like to trim your designs by hand or use dies or electronic cutters to cut your pieces, creating cards with lots of dimension looks great for any occasion.